Boker Tov, we are Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph on the top. המפקיד ינו אצל עובד כוכבים, אסור בשתייה ומותר בהנאה. If a person entrusts, he gives his wine to a non-Jew to watch over, so it's asur b'shtiya, you're forbidden to drink it, ומותר בהנאה. והתנן, says the Gemara, is that true? המפקיד פירותיו אצל עובד כוכבים, a person who gives his fruits to an עובד כוכבים, הרי הן כפירותיו של עובד כוכבים לשביעית ולמעשר. It's considered like these are the fruits now of the non-Jew concerning Shvi'it and Maser, which means that we're afraid that the non-Jew switched it. So if so, why would we allow why would the yain be mutar behana'a, the previous case? Says the Gemara, kegon sheyiched lo keren zavi. So we're talking about a place where he designated a very special corner that the non-Jew, we're not afraid that the non-Jew didn't switch it around. Says the Gemara, if so, if we're so confident that the non-Jew didn't switch it, so allow him to drink it as well. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan ikla leparod. Rabbi Yochanan came to the city of Parod. Amar, klum yesh mishnat bar kapara. Is there anyone over here that knows a halacha of bar kapara? Tana Rabbi Tanchum demin Parod. So Rav Tanchum from Parod, this place where he was, taught him, המפקיד ינו אצל עובד כוכבים, mutar b'shtiya. So he told him that it's going to be mutar b'shtiya, it's going to be allowed to drink. כך יעלה, מקום שיפול העץ, שם יהיו שר כדאיתך, אלא שם יהיו פירותיו. So he says, the question was originally, why shouldn't it be mutar b'shtiya? If you're saying that it's yichet keren zavit, if you're saying that he put it aside in a corner, and now that it should be okay, so it should also be mutar b'shtiya. And be'emet, the Gemara answers, you're right, it is mutar b'shtiya. And this is what happened when Rabbi Yochanan went to Parud. He found Rabbi Tanchum over there. Rabbi Tanchum taught him that Bar Kapara said that it would be mutar, and he said that the makom shipol ha'etz, the place where the tree falls, shamiyu, there it's going to be. Says the Gemara, shamiyu, it's going to be over there. Really? Like, what are you trying to teach me? Sarkadaitach, shamiyu sarkadaitach, ela shamiyu perotav. Over there is going to be the fruits. Meaning, look, he passed away in that city, and he still left fruits behind him. He still left people that know halacha behind him. אחד הלוקח ואחד הסוחר בית בחצרו של עובד כוכבים. If a person buys or rents a house in the courtyard of an Oved Kochavim, umal'uhu yain, and he filled it with wine, umafteach o chotam b'yed Yisrael, and the key or the seal is in the hand of Israel. Rabbi Eliezer matir v'chachamim Muslim. Rabbi Eliezer says mutar, chachamim says it's asur. Amar Rabbi Chia bered Rabbi Chia bar Nachmani. So Rabbi Chia says in the name of Rabbi Chia bar Nachmani. Amar Rav Chazda in the name of Rav Chazda. Amar Rav in the name of Rav. V'amrina, and there are those that say Rav Chazda Amar Zeiri. Rav Chazda said in the name of Zeiri. V'amrina Amar Rav Chazda. So there, he said Amar li Abba bar Chama. Abba bar Chama told me, Achi, Amar Ze'ira, this is what Ze'ira used to say. Halacha ke Rabbi Eliezer. The halacha is like Rabbi Eliezer that it's going to be mutar. Amar Rabbi Elazar, Akol mishtamer bechotam echad, chutz min hayayin. Everything is okay with one seal. You only need, if you're giving it to a non-Jew, you only need one seal. Chutz min hayayin, she'en mishtamer bechotam echad. Besides for wine, which needs two seals. Okay? Rabbi Yochanan Amar, and Rabbi Yochanan says, Afilu yain mishtamer b'chotam echad, even wine is enough to be in one seal. Velo pligi, and they're not arguing. Ha ke Rabbi Elazar, ha ke Rabbi Elazar, ha ke Rabbanan. One is according to Rabbi Elazar, and one is according to Rabbanan. Ika de Amrim, there are those that say, Amar Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Elazar says, Hakol mishtamer b'chotam, chutz min b'toch chotam, everything is able to be watched in a seal within a seal, which means now he's saying, he's changing it. Before he said only one seal is enough, now he's saying everything is good in two seals, one inside another. Chutz min hayayin, she'en mishtamer b'chotam b'toch chotam, besides for wine, which is not, even a chotam b'toch chotam, even a seal within a seal is not enough. ורבי יוחנן אמר, רבי יוחנן says, אפילו יין משתמר בחותם בתוך חותם, even wine can be kept חותם בתוך חותם. ותרוויו כרבנן. And now we're going to say instead of them instead of Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yochanan arguing, they're with Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Rabbanan. Now we're saying they're both in the opinion of Rabbanan. מה סבר כי פליגי רבנן עלי דרבי אליעזר בחותם אחד, אבל בחותם בתוך חותם שרו. One says that when they're arguing only with חותם אחד, but חותם בתוך חותם, they both agree. ומה סבר אפילו חותם בתוך חותם עשירי, and the other one says no, even חותם בתוך חותם they didn't allow. Says the Gemara, Hechidami chotam betoch chotam. What is called chotam betoch chotam? What is called a seal within a seal? Amarava, Agna de Puma de Chavita. Okay, so he says, it's if you have a bowl turned over the opening of the barrel, okay, the mouth of the barrel. Sherika v'chatima, okay. If it's stuck to the sides and then it's stamped, okay. Have chotam betoch chotam. So it's a cover and then there's a seal on top of that cover. Then it's going to be okay. V'ila la, and if it's not going to be like that, it's not going to be considered chotam betoch chotam. Dikula umihadak, a basket, and that is overturned over the barrel and it's tightened, okay. Have chotam betoch chotam, it's considered to be chotam betoch chotam, lo mihadak, but it's not. If it's not tightened, lo have chotam betoch chotam. It's not going to be considered chotam betoch chotam. Okay. Nod bediskaya. So nod is like a water skin. So it's meant for wine. So it's going to be basically the same thing. Okay. Chatimat piv lemata. Okay. So you have the water pouch inside another pouch. Okay, the wine pouch, more accurately, the wine jug or whatever this is, inside another one, and then you have the head of it is towards the bottom. Okay, towards the bottom of the bag. It's inside another bag, and the opening is towards the other side. Have chotam betoch chotam. This is considered to be chotam betoch chotam. Piv lemala, but if the opening of the wine container is up, lo have chotam betoch chotam, because then it's going to be directly to the opening of the second bag, so that only makes it one chotam. V'chi kayef pume legav, says the Gemara, but when he turns it upside down, okay. If the mouth is bent inside, and then it is tied and sealed again, chotam betoch chotam. Okay, it's going to be considered chotam betoch chotam. In other words, that it should be. These are all different ways that say that show that it's you have two coverings. It's kind of like one directly on the bottle, and then another one that should be on top of that. Tanu Rabbanan. בראשונה היו אומרים יין של אין כושי אסור. The wine that comes from the place of אין כושי, it's אסור. Why? מפני בירת סריקה. Because of the people, the עובד כוכבים, from בירת סריקה. בשל ברקתה, and the wine of the city of ברקתה, אסור, is אסור, מפני כפר פרשאי. Because of the people, the non-Jews of כפר פרשאי. בשל זגדור, asur mipnei kfar shalim, and the wine of Zagdur is asur because of the goyim of kfar shalim. Chazru lomar chaviyot petuchot asurot, sutumot mutarot. And then the Chachamim said that only the open barrels of these three cities were going to be asur, but if they were closed, they're going to be mutar. Says the Gemara, Mikal my savu. Why would we originally think that even if they're closed, they should be asur? Will be soft my savu. And what changed their mind to say that if it's going to be closed, it's going to be allowed? So says the Gemara, Mikal savu. In the beginning, they thought en kuti makpid an maga ovet kochavim. A kuti he's not exactly he's close to being a goy basically, and he says they're not careful about the maga of Oved Kochavim. So therefore, we're not afraid. We're afraid even though it's going to be closed. Lo shna ptuchot velo shna sdumot. We're not afraid. We're doesn't for them. It wouldn't make a difference if it was open or closed. Ubesof savu, and then afterwards, Chachamim said ki lo kapid aptuchot. When are the kutim careful that the goyim shouldn't touch the wine? Only when are they not careful that the goyim shouldn't touch the wine? Aptuchot, only if the wine was open. Astumot mikpat kapid, but if it was closed, the kutim are careful that the goyim shouldn't touch it. Therefore, it wouldn't be a problem. Says the Gemara, ustumot mutarot, and says the Gemara, really, the closed ones are going to be allowed. He says the Gemara, we ask this contradiction. If a person sends the wine, a barrel of wine in the hands of kuti, v'shel tzil, or like fish oil, v'shel moyas, and it's like also like a dish of fish, biad ovet kochavim, in the hands of Oved Kochavim, so wine in the hands of a kuti, or tzir and muriyas in the hands of a goy. Im makir chotamo v'satmo, if he's able to recognize the seal that he did, mutar v'im lav asur, it's going to be asur. So we see over here that even if he sends the wine of a kuti, the wine in the hands of a kuti, it's asur. Amar Rabbi Zera la kashya kan ba'ir kan baderech. There's a difference between the ir, the city, and the way, meaning on the outside of the city. Matkifla Rabbi Yomi midi hanach de ir lo baderech atu. What? The ones that are in the city, they came from the way. Why? Because you make them in the fields, you made them over there. So till they come to the city, there's that whole stretch that the Oved Kochavim could have touched it. Ela amar Rabbi Yomi. So says Rabbi Yomi, ben hagitot shaninu. We were talking about that um it was during the wine season. Okay, it was during the wine season. Kivan de kuli alma afri miotat. Since everyone is walking around over there, they're afraid. Even though it's on the road, even though it's not yet in the city, they're afraid. Therefore, normally on the road it's a sul, but since it's the wine season and a lot of people are on the roads, they're going to be careful. The kutim are going to be careful with the wine. Amal hashta I chazili mifseduli. He's going to say, if people are going to see me, they're going to see that the wine was touched or whatever it is, they're going to cause a loss. They're meaning no one's going to want to buy it, and then it's going to be asul. So they're very careful during this period. Itmal mipnei ma asul shechal shel ovdei kochavim. Why did they say that the beer of a non-Jew is asul? Rami bar Chama amar Rabbi Yitzchak mishum chatnut, because we're afraid that if a person is going to sit down to drink beer with a non-Jew, we're afraid that eventually it might lead to their children getting married. And as far-fetched as it sounds, unfortunately, it can happen. Rami bar Chama amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Rami bar Chama says in the name of Rabbi Yitzchak, mishum chatnut. Okay, sorry, we said that mishum chatnut. Rav Nachman amar mishum gilui. The problem is not because of chatnut. The problem is because we're afraid that they didn't cover it overnight. They left it uncovered. Agilu demai, says the Gemara. Okay, what's the problem of it being uncovered? Ilema gilui diniziata. If you say it's going to be uncovered while it's still in the vats, okay. Ananami maglinan. But for us also, meaning even for the Jews, they do it. Why? Because it's still being toses, it's still being fermented, so we're not afraid. Okay? Ve'ela the chavita. No, so now we're saying that where is it going to be uncovered? In the barrels. Ananami megalina. We also keep it uncovered. Why? Because says Rashi, because the snakes don't drink beer. Okay, so what's the problem of gilui? Says the Gemara. When is going to be beer asur bishum gilui? In a place where they leave the water that is going to be used for the beer uncovered. That's where it's going to be asul mishum gilu. Says the Gemara, elameata yashan tishtari. If the if the the beer is old, it should be allowed. Why? The Amar Rabbi says yashan mutar. If anything is like old, it's gonna be allowed. It's gonna be aged. It's gonna be allowed. Why? If there's snake venom inside the the liquid, whatever it is, the venom will not allow it to properly age. Okay, ichmitz mutar. The same thing if it was vinegar. If it turned into vinegar, it's also going to be allowed. Why? Because the venom will not allow it to ferment. Okay. Ichmitz mutar en manichol leachmitz, because the venom will not allow it to ferment, says the Gemara. So if so, why should it be? Why should aged beer not be allowed? Says the Gemara. Gzera yashan atu chadash. There's a decree on the old one because of the new one, meaning we're afraid that they might confuse the two. Therefore, we said it's both of them aren't allowed. Rav Papa mapikin le'ababa dechatnuta v'shatu. Okay, he would take the non-Jew out. Okay, he would take the beer of the non-Jew out, and he would drink it there. Meaning, he would drink it not inside the store. Okay, Rav Achai ma'itule lebeitei v'shati. They would bring it to his house, and then he would drink it over there. V'travayu mishum chatnut. Both of them said that it was because of chatnut that we weren't allowed to drink the beer of a non-Jew. Therefore, if it was outside of the store, or it was in his own house where there's the non-Jew not around, then they would both drink it. Says the Gemara of Achai, okay, Avid halchaka yeterta. But Rav Achai, he made an even like stronger one where he made sure to drink it in his house, as opposed to Rav Papa, who would drink it outside of the store. Rav Shmuel bar Bisna ikla lemar go'an. Rav Shmuel bar Bisna came to Mar Go'an. Chamra velo ashti. They brought him wine, okay, and he didn't drink. Shichra velo ishti. They brought him beer, and he didn't drink. So says the Gemara, Bishlama Chamra Mishum. I can understand why he didn't drink the wine, Mishum Shimtza, okay, because we're afraid that there was a problem with it, meaning Yain Esech. Shicha Mishumai, but why didn't he drink the beer? Says the Gemara, Mishum Shimtza de Shimtza, because we're afraid of a problem of a problem, meaning that he made the beer asul because the wine was asul. Why is the wine asul? Because we're afraid of yain nesach. So it was a chashash on top of a chashash. Amarav hay shicha de arma'a shari. The beer of a Armenian is going to be allowed. V'chia beri lo nishti. But Chia, my son, he wouldn't drink from it. Says the Gemara, manafshach. What's the problem over here? Okay, ishari lekuli alma shari. If it's allowed to eat it to everyone. Asir lekuli alma asir. If it's asur to everyone. Ela Rav Savar, Rav holds mishum giluya ve'izir merura de kashuta. Okay, so Rav holds, what was the problem of the beard? Because of gilui, right? Ve'azir merura de kashuta ve'kalele zara. But the merora, the bitterness of the hops, the thing that makes the beer, it makes the venom weak. Okay, but someone who is already udlakim malkele tfe. If someone is already not well, someone that's not well, malkele tfe is going to make him even worse. And he said Chia, his son, or in velake, since he was already not well, lo nishti mine, shouldn't drink from it. Amar Shmuel said, Kol hashratzim yesh lahen eres. All the shratzim, we call it the creepy crawly animals, have venom. Shenachash memit, but of a nachash it can kill. Okay, it's fatal. The other one's less of a problem. Amar le Shmuel lechia bar Rav. Shmuel said to Chia bar Rav, Bar Uraya, okay, son of the Torah, meaning someone important. Ta ve'em alach milta me'al yeta dehava amar Rav avuch. Come, let me teach you something that your father used to say. So now, before we mentioned Chia that he said about his son, we mentioned Rav that said about his son that was Chia that was unwell, he shouldn't drink from the venom. So now Shmuel was telling Chia, the son of Rav, come, let me tell you something that your father said. This is what your father said. Okay, Hane arama'e zavkane. Okay, these bloated Armenians. Dehavu shati giluya velo metu. They drink uncovered water or whatever it is, drinks, velo metu, and they don't die. Why not? I did the achle shratzim umasim. It's because they eat the creepy crawly animals, all the cockroaches, all those crawling animals, and chavid gufayhu, their bodies already become used to the venom. So meaning he says that the venom is what already the venom of the other crawling animals is what helps to neutralize and helps give them a sort of immunity to the venom of a snake if there was. Okay. Amar Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says, "Hi, chala de shichra de arma'a asu." The beer vinegar of an Armenian is asur. Because they mix in the sediment of the yain nesech. Okay. Amar Ravashi says, umeotzar share. But if the vinegar is from the storehouse, it's gonna be permitted. Why? Kivin deme albibe masra sari. Because once they mix the sediment into the beer, it spoils it. So if it's in the storehouse, it shows that he didn't mix it in, and that's why it would be allowed. Amen ve'amen.